Poster presentations are a major part of academic conferences. But if you're a new researcher, you might be a little confused or unsure about what exactly a poster presentation is. In this video, I'll do my best to explain about what poster presentations are and cover some tips to help you deliver a better poster presentation. Let's get started. So before we can get into any tips, we first have to answer the question, what is a poster presentation? Academic poster presentations are kind of like a combination of a normal oral presentation and a conversation. For about an hour, you and your peers will stand next to posters that you made to display the findings of your research. Conference goers will walk around viewing all the posters and stop to ask questions about the ones that look interesting to them. Presenters, meanwhile, will do their best to explain what their research is all about. So now that you have a rough idea of what a poster presentation is, let's talk about some tips to help you give a better poster presentation. Tip number 1, don't give a one-way talk. Whereas with a normal presentation, where a speaker talks while the audience quietly sits and listens, a good poster presentation should be a back and forth exchange between the presenter and their listeners. Remember, visitors to the session will want to ask you questions and also want to have time to go and see other posters that are in the session. Don't trap your audience by going into a long one-way speech without breaks for them to ask questions or to check their understanding. Remember, this is not a speech or a TED Talk. Okay, and that brings us to tip number 2, which is to have an elevator pitch. Tying in with point number 1, you want to avoid talking too much, but you do still need to tell people about your research so they can decide if they're interested and want to hear more. This is why it's a good idea to have an elevator pitch, a short summary that answers 3 questions. What's your topic? What did you find through your research? And why are these findings important? Your elevator pitch should be about 3 sentences and only take about 2 to 3 minutes to say. From there, your audience can ask questions about specific points on your poster, or ask to hear more about your topic, research, or findings. They may also just decide to move on, and that's okay. Tip number 3 is to use your poster. Okay, so this might sound obvious, but when you're talking about your research, you should actually use the poster you made to help you. Try pointing to sections with clear visuals that can help your audience to understand what you're talking about more easily. If your poster is designed well, your audience will also be able to highlight parts they want to hear more about. They might, for example, point to a graph and ask you to explain about what it means, or ask about specific points you chose to include on your poster. And this ties nicely into point number 4, which is be ready to answer some questions. Audience members are going to ask you questions about your poster and research. While it's impossible to know the questions they might ask, here's a few common ones. Why did you choose the topic that you chose? Did anything in your research surprise you? Were there any points that you would like to research further or still have questions about? If you do get a question that you don't feel that you can answer, that's okay, just be honest about it and move on. You might consider keeping a notepad with you to take notes about questions that you can actually go and look up later. Finally, point number 5 is to relax and have fun. Remember, your poster presentation should be like having a good conversation about your research with a few interested listeners. Your audience chose to stop at your poster, so be welcoming, smile, and try to enjoy sharing everything that you learned from your research. If something doesn't go smoothly, try not to stress about it, learn from it, and try to do better with the next person or people that stop by. So hopefully this video has cleared up any questions that you have about poster presentations and given you some tips to help you have a successful one. Don't forget to feed the algorithm by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.